Hey guys, look what the cat dragged in. Yeah, I got a call from a gentleman who's had this car up at a local tyre shop to try and get it running. Apparently it sat outside all winter. Was running prior to that apparently, but it sat outside all winter and it's dead. So he took it to this local tyre and wheel alignment shop, which shall remain nameless, but they are a moody bunch of guys. Yeah, so anyway, they told him it's locked up, the engine's locked up, that's why, like when you turn the key, it's just nothing, nobody home. And they said, yeah, the engine's locked up, we don't do engines, come and take it away, we're not interested. So he came to me, kind of, what do I do now? So I was like, okay, tow it over here and we'll have a look at it. So here we are having a look at it. We've had the hood up, we had a quick little poke around. Sure enough, there is, I mean, take a look under here. She's lacking a little bit of love. But someone's put some nice gauges in it, you know, some fancy autometer, electronic speedo and a few bits and pieces like that. From all accounts, it's got a Bowler performance transmission in it. Now, Bowler make some nice transmissions. They're not the Walmart of transmission world by any means. So yeah, maybe this was a little bit of something at one time. But yeah, she's lacking a little love. But that's not what we're here to judge. We're here to see, one, if it's locked up, and two, why it's just dead. So the bottom line is that we've already had a wrench on it on the crank. It turns over easy. It's not locked up. I think they just didn't want to mess with it, and I can kind of get that. But power wise, we got a charge in the battery. There's power going down the main battery cable to the starter motor, but there's nothing coming up to the dash. So we're going to throw it up on the rack, have a quick look around underneath and see if we can't figure out this electrical. If we can get some electrical to the dash, maybe we can crank it, get it started. Who knows? Hopefully the engine will run a little bit better than she looks. So let's try it. Let's get her up on the rack, Steve. Okay. Yes, there's a little bit to see under here. Someone's actually spent a bit of money on this thing at one time. You know, it's got the chrome anti-roll bar in the rear. It's got Lakewood traction bars. Someone's added subframe connectors to it. And fortunately, it's connecting, you know, the front subframe with the rear chassis rails. Which, well, if you zoom in here, let's say a little bit of the newness is worn off. Would be the most polite way you could say. Same kind of going on here. There's quite a bit of rust through it up in here. Yeah, it needs a little bit of love. More high-tech exhaust hanger. Floors are gone here. This is underfelt here. Oh yeah, it's got catalytic converters on it, which is kind of a bit unusual, because they've been on there quite a long time by the look of it. The Bowler transmission, well, I don't know, maybe it's just a sticker, because if that's a Bowler transmission, they did it a long time ago. But who knows, you know, it's got headers on it. Gosh, they sound paper thin. Variable shock absorbers. I think they call that variable, don't they? Oh, we shouldn't be too harsh. Someone's put two transmission coolers on it. You've actually got one, I don't know how much you can see, but there's one here, and the other one is, where's it gone? I've lost it. There's another one here. Well, so one here, one here, and it goes into one, out of it, back into the other one, then out again and back to the trans. But that's not what we're here for. It's just interesting viewing. Tyres are dry rotted to hell. But what I got to do now is get my circuit tester out and start seeing where our power's going. We've got power coming down the main cable to the starter motor, and that's all she wrote. So let me do a bit of digging and we'll come back so we can't get this old girl fired up. Okay, So we've redone the connection, the positive connection at the battery, because that was looking iffy. And we've redone the connections down at the starter motor. The main power wire runs through down to the starter, and then the main harness picks up at that same point, that same bolt point on the starter motor. So now we've got power coming up this wire here, which we didn't have before, and that's like one of that whiter coloured wire is power going into the car, and this orange one is the solenoid, solenoid trigger. Time to give it a try. Let's see. Before it was absolutely dead. We had nothing worked in any shape. So let's have a little try and see what we got. Now, we didn't have headlights. Now we got headlights. So okay, we got some power going into the main fuse box, which is great. So there's that. Let's see if it'll crank. Okay. So we got it to crank. So we know it's not locked up, but we probably should check oil and water and stuff like that. Just don't really pay to assume that we've got, there's oil in it. It's a little low, it's saying add, but that'll do to start it. Hopefully it'll start. I don't want to pour not good oil into it if the engine's dead or rattling or just not in good shape. I'll see if it's got any water in it. Oy. There we go. Yep, we do. You see the green down in there? Okay. So, let's see if it'll fire. Remembering this motor's allegedly locked up and needs replacing. Okay, it's got leaky headers. It's not idling super smooth, but it is cold. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty sure the owner's going to be happy too. That's gone from a motor that needs replacing, like a $5,000 easy to, put another motor in there and rebuild it. So yeah, that was the original diagnosis. Our diagnosis was bad battery cables. 2 or 3 of them, and bad ground as well. Now it is leaking out the fuel filter, so that needs a new one of them. Leaking a bit of fuel out of there. Yeah, so it needs a little bit of love. The headers, I mean, they really need replacing, but that's, I'm not sure what the customer's schedule is on that kind of thing. I think more than anything he wanted to know that it wasn't completely dead. So we can give him that good news. It's not completely dead. It actually sounds pretty decent. I'd be happy if I was him. So yeah, be careful where you take your cars, and don't always take the first opinion you get. Get a second opinion if you're not sure. He knew when he parked it that it sounded all right, and then suddenly it wouldn't go. Somewhere along the line they're saying it locked up, which, it could have frozen up over winter and done some damage to itself, but it didn't. It's a happy ending. So yeah, this can go home, and so can I. See you on the next one, guys.